I was visiting Iceland recently. I was in Reykjavik. I came to know about diamond beaches of Jokullsarlon when I was researching the glaciers. It's a fascinating beach. I wanted to see it, and apparently it's a very beautiful beach. So I said, okay, I will just go and have a look at it. These are actually ice crystals broken away from the glacier ice. So the glacier ice actually gets washed down the river into the sea, and they get slashed about and gets broken up. And these pieces gets washed up onto the beach, and they look really, really beautiful. And just like a diamond, they glisten, they glitter, and it's got a very black sand background which accentuates everything up, and it's really beautiful to look at. And I think it's worth visiting this place if you ever get to go to Iceland. I was staying in about 200 kilometers away from the beach, so these are some of the views on my way. So I happened to cross a raging river just after a few minutes from my accommodation. It's kind of a volcanic landscape with the basalt rocks and the banks, as you can see. And I just stopped over there to take some pictures of the river, and then I moved on. The next feature on my way to the beach was this lava land, basically. As far as the eye could see, the whole landscape is covered by this solidified, bubbling lava of the volcano, really. And as you see, the whole of Iceland is a volcanic bed. And so when the lava was cooled, then they became like this bubbling rocks, and over which the moss has grown up. Then it gives you this greenish blackish appearance, and then you could see you have to cut through this landscape to reach the beach, which is about another 100 miles away from this area. The next feature on the way is this canyon, a very picturesque and beautiful canyon, made famous by Justin Bieber's one of his songs was filmed here. It's a beautiful landscape, and a little river runs through it, and it's a good place to spend about an hour walking around this beautiful spot. So I took some photos of this, then I moved on. Some of the interesting features on the way is this Boob Mountains or they're like a woman's breast, like mounds, volcanic mounds with the nipple at the top. Yeah, they're kind of interesting landscapes all along the way, as you can see here. And it was an enjoyable drive towards the Diamond Beach. Then I passed through this really beautiful, enchanted, uh, lush green lands with the grazing cows and horses. And then also I passed through more rugged landscape like this. It was really beautiful to watch. And there's a little hut which is dwarfed by this big mountain, a big rugged mountain. And yeah, it was a very picturesque drive indeed. The next feature on the way is the Skaftafull Glacier, which is a part of the biggest ice cap, ice mass of Iceland, which is located in the southeast of Iceland. And you can begin to see the edges of the glacier encroaching upon the flatlands as we pass through. It is an impressive sight to look at. The tiny cars dwarfed by the size of the glacier gives you an idea and a perspective of the size of the glacier when you look at it from a distance. It is an enormous area covered by ice caps, and it is beautiful to look at. Well, finally, after 2 hours of beautiful and sumptuous drive through beautiful landscapes of Iceland, I reached this glacier lake called Jokulsarlon. This is where the glacier breaks into small icebergs which float around in the lake until they get washed away into the sea. So some of the glaciers look really beautiful and glistening blue in color. They tend to have more ice trappings or gas trappings in them, which creates this bluish hue for the ice mass. And when there's not enough air entrapped in the mass, then they just look very dark and black eyes, like black eyes. And there are lots of birds flying around and trying to catch some fish. And also there were a couple of seals swimming helter-skelter. Um, and it is quite a busy lake, um, and it's quite nice to look at. And I took some lovely photos. And then I moved on to the Black Diamonds Beach. Overall map of Iceland, and you can see there are 4 big ice caps, 1 here, 2, 3, 4. This is the biggest ice mass of Iceland. It's called Vatnajökull Glacier National Park, and they've got multiple tongues of glaciers flowing out of it. And as we zoom it, and you can see it better. You can see the tongues are beginning to appear. They are the individual glaciers. So that's Jokulsarlon, that's the Skaftafell Glacier. And the Diamond Beach is down here. As we zoom more and more, and you can see the lake coming into view. And from there, zoom more. So that is the edge of the glacier. That's where the icebergs break and they get into the lakes. And you can see these dark spots. They are the actual icebergs floating around. And this lake drains into the sea through this channel here. So as the water flows, these icebergs get stranded over here over a number of months, and eventually manage to pass through one by one through this small channel. So that's the bridge running over it, and you can see the icebergs coming into view. Right, so that's a channel, and that's flows into the sea. Now this is the main sea now. And you can see floating ice masses here. Right. So they get slashed around by the waves and repeatedly slammed onto the beach. Eventually they begin to break up into small pieces. Then that results in ice crystals getting washed up into the beach. You can see the small ice crystals over here. They are the actual diamonds, the so-called diamonds. So that's how Diamond Beach comes into play. And so yeah, it is fascinating to see the Diamond Beach from an overall point of view. So this is how the diamond ice crystals are made. You could see this small iceberg, which was really big at the beginning. Then it gets washed into the sea, and then gets slashed around by the waves repeatedly, slamming them onto the beach. Then eventually these ice bugs broke up into small pieces, and they become the diamond crystals, and they get washed up on the beach. And because the beach sand is so black because of volcanic burnt out sand, and it gives a great contrast to look at, and together the black sand and the glistening white ice crystals create this beautiful beach, and it's a sight to behold, really, and everyone should see this place once in a lifetime if they get a chance. Here people are having fun with the diamonds, enjoying the beach, and engrossed in taking photographs. It's really lovely to look at. I read it in the Lonely Planet about this beach that you could be attacked by this bird called skua, and it's called being skuad. These birds nest in the beach area, and if you go near the nest area, they start attacking you. And they are quite a large and burly birds, quite aggressive in nature. They feed upon puffins and seagulls, and they've got a quite large beak, and it can cause significant damage to you if you're not careful. But I forgot about it, and they started attacking me when I wandered into their nest area, so I have to take away. This is a young couple having their meal in their camper vans. These are camper vans which are converted for camping. You can sleep in them. You have all the basic amenities, and also have small cooking kitchen in it. And you park the car wherever you go and sleep in it. For toilet facilities, you go to the public places to use them. Camper vans can save a lot of money when you are traveling around Iceland. Notice this camper van parked in the beach. It was so dirty, and the cycle was completely covered in mud. Then later on, as I was driving back away from the beach back home, then this chap was in front of me. It was raining heavily, and so it was kind of a welcome rain for the cycle to be clean. So gradually it got washed up, and it became a clean van, as you can see here.